Invite Nico Mikos, our student trustee, up here to speak.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for attending this lovely candidate forum. My name is Nico Mikos. I'm the student trustee at Rock Valley College, and essentially what my job is I'm the liaison with Student Government Association and the Board of Trustees. My job is to represent the students on the board and just try to spread awareness to what the students need. And anyone who wishes to run for the seat, it takes a lot of dedication and a lot of time to run for the board or to represent the students. Essentially, just have an open mind and just trying to show awareness to situations and concerns of the students. Getting a little stage fright. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I now welcome our president of SGA, Isaiah Blake, who will ask the panelists the questions we have prepared.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isaiah Blake, and I am the president of SGA, the Student Government Association. I'm going to ask some questions and allow each candidate to answer the question. We have 5 candidates joining us in person, and we appreciate your presence here with us. Leo Zhang is sitting in the first row here. He will hold up one paddle, indicating you have reached half of your allotted time. He will then hold up another panel, indicating that your time is up to respond. We ask that everyone respect the 2-minute time limit so that everyone's voice can be heard. And we will still have time for questions at the end. If we can be able to bring up some of the candidates, Gloria Kudia, could you please come up? Yes, just go up there. You're fine. Any seat you want. Of course. Next, we have Jenna Goldsmith. Could you please come up? Next, Paul Gorski, please come up. Next, we have Richard Kennedy, please come up. And finally, could we have Jerry Simmons, please come up. Thank you all for attending. Now, just to repeat the rules, there is a 2-minute time limit per person. So if you could please be able to respect that, we would gladly appreciate that. Now, let's start with our first question, starting with Gloria. Introduce yourself and tell us what special features that you can bring to the RVC Board of Trustees.
All right, hello, can you hear me now? All right, thank you. First of all, I want to thank Rock Valley College and the Student Government Association for having us and giving us this opportunity. I knew there would be time limits, so I wrote down my notes and remember my name and stuff like that. Okay, and yes, my name is Gloria Cardenas Cudia, and I am currently on the board. I am the Rock Valley College Board of Trustees Vice Chairman and the immediate past chair. What I bring to the table is experience, both in life and public service. I served as a Park District Commissioner, and I served as a school board member and president at the Rockford Public School District 205. And I always say this, at the turn of the century, this one, not the other one. And also, I have served here for 6 years. My term will be up in May. And I think what I can say is what I bring to the table is, I mentioned earlier, is diverse life experiences. Real quick, like I will just say that I have a huge network of diverse friends and members because I've spent decades as a volunteer. I'm not a career politician, I'm a career volunteer because we don't get paid to do this, because we're here because we care. Thank you.
Thank you. You can go next.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah? Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out, for being an engaged citizen, and to SGA for hosting us, Rock Valley College. Thank you. I'm Jenna Goldsmith. I am running for our VC Board of Trustees, obviously, one of 3 seats. I am a Rock Valley College alum. I graduated in 2006, and a Belvedere High School graduate. I graduated in 2004. After Rock Valley College, I went to Illinois State University and earned a degree in English. And after ISU, I moved to Kentucky to get a degree in English. That's where I earned my PhD, the University of Kentucky. So go Wildcats, if there's any fans out there. No? Okay. After that, I moved out to the state of Oregon for my first job, and it was a good experience, but while I was there, I just kept thinking about Rockford. I kept thinking about my home here, especially Rock Valley College. And so after a few years out there, I moved back, and it's been wonderful to be back in town. I've stayed really connected with the college. I've visited classes. I was the Rockford City Poet Laureate for 2 years, and so as Poet Laureate, I was able to come back to RVC and visit with students in writing classes and with voices and with the college newspaper. And during that time of service, I was like, how can I stay involved? How can I continue to serve the community? And so when I saw that a seat was going to be open on the Board of Trustees, I jumped on it, and I would love your support and your vote on April 1st or before. Right now, voting is happening. So thank you so much for being here, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you all.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Paul Gorski. I've served on the RVC board, and thank you very much for giving me that opportunity since 2017. And in that time, I've served as educational chair, vice chair, and I currently serve as the finance chair. And over my years on the board, we've helped build a new ATC, institute new DEI initiatives on campus, and we've tried to build a team of advisors to the president, because the trustees don't run the college, all right? We're policy and we're fiduciary mostly. We hire the president, we hire our attorneys, and we hire our auditors. And what I'd like to do this election cycle is get reelected and continue the advice and the teamwork we've been working with with President Spearman. And I'd like to build out that team with people that have experience. Mine is in IT and in operations, and I'd like to help retain Richard Kennedy because of his years of public service with the police force and in other public service and community events. And I really miss the wisdom that came from Lynn Carney, professional educator who used to be on the board and retired. And this is why I'm asking you to also vote for Jenna, and I don't think she likes using the title, but Dr. Goldsmith to the RVC board to help round out that advice team to President Spearman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me today. I'm currently a trustee at Rock Valley College, and I'm actually the recording secretary. I've been on the board for 2 years now, and I think the board and administration has accomplished a lot in these last 2 years. The students in our district are the most important aspect we as a college need to pay attention to. We are all here to make sure as many students are able to attend college, which provides them with affordable, quality education. A college which students feel comfortable with and are deemed a safe place for learning. We welcome any to our college who are seeking a quality education, no matter what their status is. If you want to come to Rock Valley College and begin your American dream, you are welcome to our institution. Why am I qualified for this position? I've been a public servant for the last 27 years. I was a police officer for 20 years. I currently work at the Rockford Police Department as a civilian employee, and I have been a trustee for 2 years. I retired because of injuries, and I know my passion is for helping others. The responsibility of being a police officer was helping people who needed help in difficult circumstances, showing compassion, empathy to others, and you treated every victim the same. You provide resources to individuals who need help, and you answer questions to the best of your ability. This should be the same qualifications as any person running for a political position. I have a daughter in college, and I hope for the same achievements I wish for my daughter to the students here in the district. To be able to graduate, achieve the American dream, and for the next generation to be better than the current. Thank you, and I hope I receive your vote April 1st.
Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, SGA, for hosting this in League of Women Voters. I'm Jerry Simmons, and I was born and raised here in Rockford. I spent my life and my career fighting for what's right and leading by example. I was raised on the west side of town where education wasn't the forefront. Kids in my neighborhoods didn't know if you worked hard enough for anything that the opportunities were endless. I'm running on the issues that matter to so many in this room. I believe that the next generation is the leading force for the future. I spend my days as a coordinator and legislative assistant for the state of Illinois, where I help get people the help that they need. I hear so many stories on a daily basis so that's really brought me to my public service. Fighting for what's right and leading by example. We need leaders who understand that the challenges we face today cannot be the problems we try to solve tomorrow. I believe in this community. I believe with a strong educational background and the importance that Rock Valley plays to this community can really lead the future generations forward. I'm running because we need representation who understands what Rock Valley offers. And it's important that we expand those education opportunities to everyone, no matter where you come from, what you look like. The opportunities at success must come to you. We must be there to provide those opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our second question. Given the state of the country and efforts of the executive branch to limit diversity, equity, and inclusion on campus, what will you do as a board or trustee member to uphold cultural diversity and aid for underprivileged minorities on campus? Would you like to start, Gloria?
Give me a microphone anytime. All right. Okay, with or without DEI, or any institution, public or private, is obligated to provide trust and respect and an equal opportunity for a successful outcome for any, whether it's for a job, whether it's for education, or any area, and that equal opportunity should apply to anybody regardless of race, culture, creed, or any other differences that maybe stand out that people are so kind of concerned about, which in essence they shouldn't, because it really comes down to the heart of a person. I truly believe that really, you can look at a person and judge them immediately. I mean, that happens all the time, based on their color or based on their accent or whatever. But what really comes down to is a person's character and integrity and people skills and things like that, having a positive attitude. Because regardless of what happens to us, and that is important, it's what we do with what happens to us. I can briefly tell you too, that I went to elementary school. I was born in Uvalde, Texas, and you probably know Uvalde because of Robb Elementary School and the shooting that happened there about 2 years ago. My siblings and I went to that school, and at that time, it was a segregated school. They had a school in Uvalde for the Hispanic, Mexican-American kids, the black kids, and the white kids. It wasn't until middle school that we integrated. But my parents always told us way back, doesn't matter, I mean, it does matter what happens to you, but what do you do with that? And with that, once I went to middle school, I realized that we were all alike. We all had the same fears, we had the same goals, we all wanted to work together, but sometimes there are barriers. And I think DEI, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's just been misunderstood. And I think it's important for the rest of us to get that message out, that it's important for us to see beyond color or culture or to accent, so that we can all work together to achieve not only our goals, but especially here, the educational goals of the students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this question. Anybody who has attended Rock Valley College or is in some way affiliated with Rock Valley College, which is just about everybody in this region, whether you've attended here or you know somebody who has attended here, knows that diversity, equity, and inclusion is baked into the success of this college. When you are a student here, you have opportunities to become involved in organizations that celebrate different cultures. You learn about different cultures in your classes. It's baked into the curriculum. I remember taking a non-Western music class when I was here. It's stuck with me ever since. It's baked into the foundation of what makes Rock Valley College a great institution. And so when I think about diversity, equity, and inclusion, I feel solid that no matter what happens at the federal level, we'll continue our mission, which is to provide any student who shows up here the opportunity to become involved in a program or further their knowledge, their education. I'm not concerned about that. I saw a post I think it was this morning. The president of Rockford University, Patty Lynott, posted on Facebook about the sort of noise that's going on at the federal level right now. And I think that she posted this to sort of calm the faculty and staff at her institution. But essentially what she was saying, which I found really inspirational, was that our mission, their mission at RU, but also ours here at RVC does not change. We are still going to celebrate people of diverse cultures, and we're going to do so through our co-curricular activities, through our academic opportunities, and at all levels, staff, faculty, and student. And so I feel really solid in that, and I hope to continue to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, DEI baked in, as Dr. Goldsmith said, for years here. Wasn't formalized, though, until a few years ago. Now, we had an interim president that during that summer, I believe it was Matthew Oakes and somebody else came to the board meeting, presented this eye for a new DEI vice president. And I was all for it. And I said, they're going to punt this down the road. Don't let them do it. Make them put it on the agenda for the very next meeting. Don't let them off the hook on it, because this is important. And they did, and we moved forward. And when President Spearman came on board, quickly moved to formalize the DEI position, the office, and certain other supporting programs to go along with it. Now, I think the question is more to what does the outlook for federal, maybe arm twisting on the college due to our DEI program. And I'd say it shouldn't do a thing to it. It is, like I said, I want to build a board that gives good advice to the president. The board doesn't hire or fire anybody else other than that president. And we're not going to make any decisions saying we're going to eliminate this or that. My advice to the president is stay strong, hold your ground on DEI. Don't be bashful about it. Don't hide it. Don't try to stick it into another program or something and still say we're doing it without saying we're actually doing DEI initiatives, programming, and the like. Let's not cave on DEI. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is actually an interesting topic because actually this came up in our board meeting a couple weeks ago in regards to what's happening at the federal level and what steps the college is going to be doing going forward. There is going to be some type of adjustment in regards to maybe language and things like that, so we're not targeted, so to speak. But basically, DEI is in a policy, and the board is not changing that policy because of pressure from the federal government. I believe in basically diversity, equity, and inclusion. I actually went to Belvedere High School. I don't know if many people know that. And during that time period, my family was probably one of maybe 5 African-American families at Belvedere High School. And at that time, I remember sitting in the classroom in middle school and high school, and guess what? The topic was roots. And during that time period, being the only African-American person in that room, who do you think was uncomfortable? The white student or the one black student? And during that time period, there was no permission slips. There was nobody actively saying you shouldn't be showing this particular film. This was in 1987, 1988. So I think we got people in power who are actually using this as a tool to divide, and our college is not going to allow that divide. The policy will stay the same. It's not going to change. We're going to include everybody who wants to come here and attain that American dream.
Thank you.
To piggyback what all of them have said, I think it's important that we're protecting our students. DEI has come such a hot topic. Look, I'm black. We all know that, right? It's important that we're protecting those of color, those of different ethnicities, and where they come from and who you are. I truly do believe that what they're doing on a federal level, there has to be reined in. It is our job. It's our job to protect those of DEI. And from far what they're doing on the federal level, I think we have to do as a community college, have to look back and see what, as a board, what that looks like one day. How do we make sure we safeguard those? How do we make sure we protect our students without interfering or having to cut people, programs, or anything like that? Like I said, DEI, this has become such rooted and divisive. We need to make sure that we're using this message to unite people. DEI isn't a great thing. It's not, I should say not a great thing. It's become a divisive topic. So let's make sure we're using that to be able to unite people together, not divide people farther apart. That makes sense, sorry.
Thank you. Moving on to our third question. With tuition and other college-associated prices being students' main concern, and with the current administration limiting federal education funding, what will you do as member of the Board of Trustees to address these needs?
Thank you. I'm not a techie person. I do other stuff. Okay, thank you for that question. I think one of the key factors is communication. More often than not, a lot of people don't realize how many grants are available, how many scholarships are available. In fact, right here at Rock Valley, we have the Rock Valley College Scholarship Fund, and we have so many funds to give away, so many scholarships, and people do apply, but we never have enough people apply, so there are funds left over. And I think it's probably because people don't realize that it's available to them. I'll also share that Illinois State Representative Maurice West has been instrumental in bringing funds from the state level for students to participate in their, desired classes or courses or programs. So there is funding out there. What I will do, I will continue to support any opportunities for funding, but I'll take it a step farther. I retired from the Rockford Park District after having served as a commissioner, and I'm retired, and I'm a widow, and I have a pension, but my husband passed away 5 years ago, but I started the Frank and Gloria Cudillas Scholarship Fund here at the foundation because I truly believe that after I'm gone, which I hope isn't for a long time, I'm talking about death. I want to be here again in May, but I am committed to making sure that those funds continue to grow. The foundation is doing an amazing job with what they have and what they're given, and it continues to grow. And I figure once I'm past this, gone from this earth, those funds will continue to grow and also continue to serve the students in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So one of the things that's been really wonderful about running for this role is that you get to talk to a lot of people and you get to ask them questions and badger them to give you answers in a way that would be totally inappropriate if you were just a regular person. And one of the things that I have consistently asked students is, what's top of mind when you're thinking about college? The thing that comes up over and over and over is, how am I going to pay for it? Affordability. And that hasn't changed from when I was a student. I was a student who was very lucky to receive one of the foundation scholarships both years that I attended here. As a Belvedere High School student, I applied for those, and it was an amazing part of my growth was being able to accept that money and come to Rock Valley College. I know that the cost of tuition at RVC pales in comparison to what a four-year college degree costs. You can get an associate's degree at RVC for around $10,000, which I think is an amazing value. That still doesn't mean that it's affordable to everybody. And so as a trustee, I, of course, don't want to vote to raise tuition, but I also know that you have to make very hard decisions when you're on a board of trustees, and sometimes that does involve raising the tuition. I can say that I would not do something like that lightly. I would collaborate and investigate and talk to my colleagues on the board. Obviously, we would have a lot of conversations with the college to think of ways that we can ensure that the tuition stays affordable, so that we are not putting that added pressure on students to have to, really dig deep to find that cash for their tuition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's under attack. Hear me? What's under attack largely are the Pell Grants, along with some other funding from the federal government. The first thing I'd like to do, one thing is share with you, I have no interest immediately of raising tuition. Next thing I would do would be to work with the foundation and President Spearman to see what we can do. There are funds, scholarship funds, but some of them are tied to certain programs and the like, and maybe not for general use. One might be for music or something like that, that may not have been utilized or taken advantage, and to work with the foundation and and President Spearman to see what we can do, if we can go back to the contributors and see if we can free that up for general scholarship to compensate for any lack of Pell Grant, maybe for a particular group of people and the like. Also, like to reach out more to looking at opportunities for industries, our business partners in the community, to help provide some scholarship things, especially in the more technical programs and the like, because they're looking for people to come out of RVC and employ them. So we should go after them and see if they can help us out in that regard. And also work just with the state also and see what they can do in terms of workforce development monies and or general education grants that we can pass through along to students to keep them coming in and come on. I've got a son in school here, so hopefully he gets out of the semester and he won't have to worry about that financing. But I know that a lot of people that's a big concern for them, and those are the opportunities I think we have for looking for money. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in the last 2 years while I've been on the board, the college has been financially stable. We have not had to lay off any teachers, and we have been financially stable in regards to providing the community with a great college experience. I believe in our administration. I believe they are on top of making sure that the college is going forward in a positive direction and not going negative. I do believe our community is our greatest asset in regards to if those dollars start collapsing down. I think we need to reach out to our partners. I think that has been a positive influence going forward in regards to our creating our connections with our community and our partners in regards to the RBC Foundation. Just like other people have said, these individuals, these businesses need our community in regards to their workforce, and I know that they would be willing to help out Rock Valley College in regards to if they come down to some type of financial instability. So I think that's our greatest asset is our community, and we take hold of that, and we trust our administration to continue staying on top of the outlook in regards, because it's not like we're making reactionary decisions. Our administration is actually forecasting out 6 months to a year down the line and making those decisions to make sure that we're financially stable.
Thank you.
Repeat it for me again.
Yeah, you can start. Oh, repeat the question? With tuition and other college-associated prices being students' main concern, and with the current administration limiting federal education funding, what will you do as a member of the Board of Trustees to address those needs?
Yeah, so when I went to Rock Valley, I worked 2 jobs to pay for tuition and everything like that. I understand the barrier that what college plays on you in your pockets, as parents, as students. And so what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to, once again, look at the budget and see for one thing, we got to protect our students, make sure we have enough money in our programs like the Pell and everything like that to be able to subsidize for those. For one thing, we have to protect those programs. Those are what gave me an opportunity, they gave many of my colleagues and many of my classmates and many of you in this room an opportunity at a great education. I'll use, like I said, we've had this conversation on the state level on how we're going to be able to protect our community colleges and protect our education systems. And I think it's about collaborating with the state, with the local governments, similar like what ways we can best give our kids the best opportunity without having to, once again, we'll have to partner with local businesses that will employ our students to give them a head start. We'll also have to just look at, okay, what can we live with, what can we live without, without making sure that we're not cutting programs that are vitally important to so many in this community. I truly do believe in, like I said, working with local governments, working with the state, working with businesses, so we can continue to make Rock Valley a thriving place for our students, for our faculty, and things like that. Like I said, the most important thing is protecting and making sure these programs are offered and expanding those opportunities to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Now on to our 4th question. How do you understand the right to the freedom of speech of students on campus? Would you like to begin?
Testing. Okay, great. Okay, it's a given that we have freedom of speech here in the United States. I think the problems begin when there is violence, bullying, and destruction of property to get a message across. I think respecting the opinions of others goes both ways. And, freedom of speech, again, goes whether it's, person to person or whether it's on, the broadcast media, newspapers, or whatever. And I think sometimes those are those venues sometimes can also be disrespectful about freedom of speech. And I think we have to be in tune with those things as well so that we can know how to respond to them, how to respond respectfully, how to respond and to get our messages across depending on our opinions. So I would say one of the key factors with freedom of speech is it just comes back to what I just said a little bit ago. It's respecting each other's opinions and agree to disagree, because that always solves a little bit of problems, and we can all move forward to achieve whatever it is. Sometimes we all have the same goals. It's the how-tos that we get stuck on. So I guess that's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have had the wonderful opportunity in my life to be a student at 3 colleges, but I've also worked at several colleges as well. And colleges have policies related to free speech. I think sometimes We don't realize that. We think, oh, it's a public institution. You can demonstrate anywhere on a college campus that's a public institution. You actually can't. Public colleges and universities have what's called free speech areas that organizations have to almost put in for their demonstration in certain areas of campus. There are policies that safeguard things like learning, right? You can't have a demonstration inside a classroom because that gets in the way of student learning. These policies safeguard maintenance. You can't get in the way of a building that's being built, or paint that, somebody's painting. You can't get in the way of that. And there are other things as well. And so I looked over the policy for RVC's free speech and demonstration. I think it's solid. I think that, students here will continue to feel like they can exercise their First Amendment rights and speak freely about the issues that are important to them. I see this happening all the time through our student organizations, and it's really exciting and wonderful to see that. And of course, I would, do whatever I can to ensure that students continue to be able to voice their opinions on our campus. I think that's one of the things that makes our campus so lively and so beautiful. And so I take any opportunity that I can to kind of talk about the inner workings of colleges and universities, because when we're on the outside, we don't see that stuff. And as somebody who has spent, 18 years or so in higher ed, I know these things.
That is all the time. To the next
Thank you.
person. Mr. Gorski.
Yeah, thank you. And this is why I want to bring Dr. Goldsmith on as a subject matter expert to the Rock Valley College Board. That was a great answer. I really don't have anything to add to that other than thank you very much for bringing up those points. Thank you.
Thank you.
That makes up for her time.
Yeah.
So I have a unique story. So I went to Northern Illinois University. During that time period, of course, I was probably 19 or 20, and Louis Farrakhan came to NIU to give a speech. He was at the Convocational Center, and I was like, I might as well go. I didn't know much about him, but I learned a lot when I listened to him. But the one thing about it is that after he gave his speech, was probably about an hour and a half, came outside, there was nobody fighting, there was nobody arguing. It was just students there to learn somebody else's quote-unquote teachings or beliefs. And I think that could happen here at Rock Valley. In regards to our community is loving, respectful. I think there's a lot of people, more people that have empathy and respect for each other. And I don't see a problem with the students coming on campus and actually expressing their beliefs and freedoms, as long as those beliefs and freedoms is not trampling on somebody else's feelings, because I don't think that's fair to another group, because we are a safe, welcoming environment, and that's what Rock Valley College stands for, is a welcoming and safe environment for all. And just because you have a different belief than somebody else doesn't mean you should trample on their beliefs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, freedom of speech is by far the greatest weapon we have, right? Being able to value that. And it's important that in my time here as Rock Valley, on this campus, there's so many amazing, diverse groups. And it's not our job to shadow them, right? We have the right to voice our opinions in a respectful and honorable manner. I truly do believe that that's what makes this community. We're diverse. We're all different in a certain way. And being able to express those opinions or whatever they are, it's vitally important that we have these opportunities to showcase them without the fear of somebody harassing us for them. And Rock Valley has done a really good job with all the diversity clubs and different opportunities and organizations we have here. And as trustee, I look forward to continuing to work to make sure that everyone has a right and a voice. And that's important as the next generation, we continue to use a right and a voice as we move on to the future. Because I'm just very proud of Rock Valley, and we're going to continue to do a great job, I think, whether I'm on the board or not. I'm working to make sure that freedom of speech is valued and it's used in the right way that uplifts everybody.
Thank you. Now, down to our final question. This question is actually in two parts. How are you responding to the changing flow of federal mandates? What are the values that will guide you through leadership in this college? That's the question. Would you like to start? Yes, you.
All right, thank you. Actually, federal and state mandates regarding specific programs or services are an issue, a big issue, especially when no funding is provided or included. And this is something that even before all this that's going on right now happened, that we're told you have to have these certain programs in your, whether it's elementary school or a college. But then they don't send any funding to go with it. You just have to find a way to make it happen. And I think the bottom line is that any institution, whether, most often where we have to apply these mandates, sometimes we may not agree with them, maybe as a group, maybe as individuals, but more often than not, we do have to apply them. But we have to apply them legally. I mean, sometimes it's like we have to ask our attorney, do we have to do this, or is there a way that we can fine tune it or whatever? Sometimes, and I'm not saying that we do that here, but those questions do come up because I've served on other, not-for-profits. But I think the value that I bring is that I believe my role and responsibility goes back to what I said before, that we need to ensure, regardless of the mandates, take this away, do this, don't do that, is for us to ensure that all students, every student who wants to attend Rock Valley College, first of all, receives a warm welcome. I mean, I know that's in the DEI part of the program is to feel people, have our students feel included. I mean, that's a given. That's a moral obligation that we have because everybody has a heart. They have feelings. And so we need to ensure that they feel comfortable coming in to Rock Valley College, whether it's in a classroom, whether it's in to watch one of our shows or participate in athletics. And I think that's a given, and I think that's one of my roles to ensure that that happens, and especially to give them the information that they need so that they can achieve their educational goals in the field of their choice. Thank you.
Thank you.
When I heard the word flow, I thought we're sort of feeling the opposite of that right now. It's a very, almost, I think of like music, staccato. It feels like a staccato rhythm in our federal government and in education. I'm somebody who's still paying off student loans, for instance, and so I have been really in the muck trying to figure out what's going to happen to my loans. How am I supposed to interpret this, right? So I've experienced firsthand some of the ups and downs of some of the messaging coming out of the federal government. I think my values, though, as they relate to the Board of Trustees and your question, have to do with nimbleness and steadiness. I've been an educator, as I mentioned before, in the state of Oregon, which is very different than being an educator and a student in the state of Kentucky, and I've done both. I have obviously been an educator and a student here in the state of Illinois, which is very different than both of those contexts. And every single time I've had to learn, what are we legally allowed to do? What are we lawfully allowed to do as both students and staff members in my different roles as staff, faculty, and now as an administrator at a college? That's another set of rules and norms that I have to figure out. And so one of the things that I think I bring, certainly one of my values is like I said, that nimbleness, that ability to learn, interpret complicated and complex policy, and kind of metabolize it and have a steady hand as we go through trying to figure out what's necessary for our students to not even notice that anything is going on if possible. That would be the goal, right? To just have students continue to go to their classes and kind of not even know, right? Because we want them to succeed no matter what. That's it. It's fast.
Well, I hope not to exceed the time here. So I don't believe the question's really targeted at unfunded mandates, because that's not the problem we're having now. With the dismantling of the Department of Education and the pulling back of things, it's more like, here, do what you want. And that's just as bad as a whole slew of unfunded mandates where we may not have an income stream for. And what we as trustees should do is listen to the advice of our attorneys, our lobbyist groups, and work with our local, state, and federal legislators to find out what some of these, and you used the word mandate. Now, few months ago, last year, that might have meant an unfunded mandate. Right now, it means an executive order, which isn't really a mandate. I'm really waiting to see how some of these things play out in the courts as different organizations challenge them. And also in 2 years, when the House of Representatives goes up for election, and there's going to be a lot of feedback to what some of these mandates across not only education or these executive orders through education, but through industry all throughout the United States. So what I'd like to do is work with the administration, our attorneys, our lobbyist groups, and not necessarily to overreact and wait and see what other groups are doing to challenge some of these executive orders, which in my opinion might have a negative impact on education, not only in the state of Illinois, but in the United States. Thank you. See, 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Just like I explained before, I have a lot of faith in our administration in regards to going forward. They have a lot of good relationships with our legislation and state in regards to what's coming down the pipeline. The number one thing that we need to focus on is our students. We should not focus on what's going on at the federal level. We should basically keep our core values that's in our policies, because that's what the board does, is make sure that basically the administration is following the policy and not deviate from that. We keep our core values in regards of welcoming people to our campus, making sure it's a safe campus where everybody is welcome to. That's the core thing in regards to the federal mandates. Mandates a little bit different than actually law. Obviously, if something came down that was actually a law, that would be something obviously our attorneys and our administration want to have to look at. But just like Mr. Gorski just said, I believe that a lot of these things that are going on are probably going to be challenged in the federal court system. So hopefully it's not going to be affecting our students or our community probably in the next couple of years. Hopefully things maybe adjust back to obviously what the priority is what the students are getting to attain that American dream.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's been a lot of noise and what's going on the federal level, and like Mr. Kennedy said, it's important we just continue to focus on what's going on here. I think that we have to listen, learn, and react. Listening to the students, to the taxpayers, listening to the faculty, learn about what's going on, continuing to follow what's going on the federal level when it comes to education. We have to make sure that we continue to keep education at a high standard here in Rock Valley. And I'm looking forward to, like I said, once again, partnering with our state and local officials, making sure they're keeping us up to date and seeing what we're going to do on the state level. Because with them cutting education, Department of Education is going to fall back on the states. So it's going to rely on us to make sure we're working with our state legislators, lobbyists, understanding what's going to go on and how, as a community college, what's in our hands now to guide. What are we going to be able to do? Where does this funding come from? What are these mandates? And then we have to just follow from there. But like I said, listen, learn, and react to it. I think that we'll do a great job, no matter who's on the board, working with Dr. Spearman, working with the university, the community college here, to make sure that we continue to make Rock Valley, like I said, a beacon of hope, and while keeping the standard of education high in the community, and also working with our local leaders to make sure they understand and they're giving us the feedback and the mandates that are going on, and as legislators, what are they doing to fight for what's right for the community college level? Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to thank all of you for answering so thoroughly. to the questions. If you have a question, please write it down on a note card and hold it up, and an SG member will come and get it from you. I believe the note cards are over at the, oh, my bad. So we will now have a 5-minute intermission to get refreshments and for our Secretary of SGA to collect and organize some audience questions. Thank you.
If we could have the candidates return back to the stage. All right, we have collected some questions from our audience members. Board of Trustees candidates will still have 2 minutes to answer these questions. Thank you, audience, for your submissions. I will now give it to Aiden Quimby to ask the audience submitted questions.
All right, guys. So we'll start with Gloria. Who is your top 2 donors supporting your RVC campaign other than yourself?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, let me speak louder. Gloria, so who is your top 2 donors supporting your RVC campaign other than yourself?
My top 2 donors?
Yes.
Gosh, I don't have top donors. The PAC probably does it, and I haven't checked that yet, but mostly it's been the local residents in the community that have donated, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. So I guess that's my answer. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, Jenna. Same question.
So our slate, RVC First, which was myself, Paul, and Richard, were supported by the building trades. I myself received an endorsement from the citizens electing pro-choice candidates, which is the PAC for the Winnebago County Citizens for Choice organization. But you said other than yourself, so I won't also include myself in that. But those are a couple of the organizations and entities that have been supporting us.
Thank you.
Yes, John Nelson here. John, raise your hand or yell. No, okay. John is the chairman and the finance and the treasurer for the RVC First the candidate committee, which is supporting the 3 of us. John has left us in the dark in purpose about some of the donations just because he told us to be candidates and not campaign managers. But I'd have to say, I know for sure one of the building trades is plumbing and pipe fitters giving to RVC First, among other trades. And then some attorney groups or individuals have contributed. Other people have contributed individually. And we don't all have the same endorsements. For example, Jenna has one endorsement, and Richard has an endorsement from the sheriff in Boone County. And I don't know if I have any endorsements at all, other than maybe the Harlem Federation of Teachers, so which I do value. But I hope that answers your question. And RVC First report is or will be online. You know, you can go to the State Board of Elections for most of that stuff. Thanks.
Thank you.
I think Mr. Gorski pretty much answered the question in regards to our PAC. In regards to my PAC, plumbers and pipe fitters and sheet metal. That's my top 2.
Thank you.
Well, my campaigns, besides myself, has been funded by everyday community people in this community. Not 1 ounce of big dollars from no big corporations or anything like that. We ran this campaign based off of everyday working people, and that's what I'll always continue to support. So yeah, that's where it comes from. All my donations, all my dollars, a lot of just help and volunteerism. That's where my campaign has been funded the most at. People giving out their hearts, and so that's it.
Thank you. Okay, we'll kind of switch it around here. So, Paul, we'll start with you. As a board member or prospective board member, what aspects of RVC would you uplift to members of our community district?
Could you repeat that?
Yes. As a board member or prospective board member, what aspects of RVC would you uplift to members of our community?
Uplift?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure. If that means promote,
Yes.
we promote both the all the academic programs, obviously, whether they're for credit or non-credit. Also, the Center for Retirement and Learning, and the theater. Since I got a theater background and a music background, the family can't turn that down. Had a daughter, went to RVC. My son is going through his second stint here at RVC. Big fan of the academics here, and then big fan of the technical programs here, whether or not they're fully going through an associate degree or just a certificate. I mean, there's not much that you can't recommend about, RVC. And really, I mean, plus you go in the community, they may not know any of our names, but they know RVC. They may not have sent somebody here, they may not have gone here, but they have a friend or a neighbor or an employee here over the years that's been here. It's been here what? Here's the quiz. How many years? 60 years. And I can't think of anything that I wouldn't want to take away anything that we've got going now. And based on the recommendation from the administration, only expand the programming in the degree programs, the technical programs, and even in, especially in the fine arts, which I have a sweet tooth for. And so if you have any other questions about that after the forum, I'll stick around and talk about that. Thanks. Up.
Yes.
Obviously, the one thing that I am looking forward to is campus on the west side. Obviously, groundbreaking is going to be March 27th, but I think that's going to be the biggest achievement of my lifetime. In 20 years of law enforcement, I would go to the same address time and time again, and I would be wondering to myself, how can we stop this cycle? And being involved with the future West Side campus, finally found a solution. The solution is breaking that cycle and putting a development over there that's going to be, give that community hope, aspiration, and the ability to actually achieve the American dream. I know I keep saying American dream, but it is American dream. This is a great country that we actually live in, and there's so much opportunity, but people have to have access to that opportunity. And that's what the West Side campus is going to bring. It's going to give that ability to reduce poverty, reduce homelessness, and reduce crime in that area. It's going to be a beacon of hope. A lot of people who never knew about RVC is going to actually see RVC on the west side of Rockford. And when they go past that building, you might have a young man or woman say, what is RVC, Mom? It's Rock Valley College, and they actually got other campuses in our community. And that might pique the interest and say, okay, I want to do that one day. I want to go to college. I want to achieve that American dream. I want to go on this big brand new building and see what they got. Because to me, Rock Valley College is like a candy, and that's how we should treat it. These kids want to go to this candy and they want to keep going back to it because we give them so much. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you.
One thing I have to say is Rock Valley has done a great job, not only just expanding education opportunity just to Rockford, it's been to all over. Belvedere, it's all around this district, and that's one thing I can say that I'm very passionate about is making sure those opportunities are accessible to everybody, and I think Rock Valley's on the rise of doing that. I'll piggyback off what Mr. Kennedy said. As a kid who was born and raised on the west side, like I mentioned earlier, where crime and gun violence was just normal, people didn't look forward to education. And now with that new expanding downtown, it's going to give people an opportunity at success. And that's what I've ran my campaign on. Expanding education opportunities, giving opportunities to those who've been left behind and forgotten about. As a community, this community just doesn't serve Rockford, like I said, it serves so many others. And our vocational training programs are the best. Our CDL programs are growing. We're on the rise, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work to make sure Rock Valley continues to be that beacon of hope. So Thank you.
Thank you.
I am also very excited about the Westside campus. I live downtown, and so any development having to do with RVC that's in my proximity, selfishly, I'm super excited about. I think it's going to be wonderful. I'm also just I'm astounded when I look out like on a crowd like this, for instance, and I see so many people who I know who either go here or went here who are succeeding in spite of their circumstances, because of their circumstances, more like, or who have been very successful given the educational foundation that they got here at RVC. My friend Jessica Bogie is out in the crowd. We were involved in Phi Theta Kappa together. She was the president. Her daughter is with her today, maybe a future RV. Sarah is out in the crowd. She's a physician at UW Health, Swedish American. And so I'm just really excited about more and more alums deciding to stay or coming back after being gone, but deciding to make Rockford their home and giving back to the community. Also, I'll just add, I'm a huge women's basketball fan. You'll see me at all of the home games. I usually sit by myself, though, in the back because I get weird and animated, and it's embarrassing. But I'm excited about it. So if you do see me at a basketball game, come say hi. And I think that's all I'll say for now because I've really opened up a can of worms.
Thank you.
Gloria? All right.
One of the fun things that I like about campaigning is, it's true, we do go out and we speak to the public, but it's also listening to them and hearing what they've got to say. And Paul's right. Everywhere I go, there's always somebody that has a cousin, that has a daughter, that has an aunt who went here. My daughter went here as well. And she, because of her bilingual skills, she has a job in IT. She works from home even before COVID. And she's traveled to China and Canada. And she tells the people she works with that she didn't get a 4-year degree because she didn't get to, at the time. And but that she always mentions Rock Valley College. And here she's traveling all over the world, and it's part of Rock Valley. One other thing when I'm out there is I always like to brag about Rock Valley College. And something that I think is critical and important for all of you to know is that Rock Valley College has been recognized nationally. And we, last year, I think it was last year when we went to a national conference where they asked us to speak and present. This fall, we've been asked to present again, and we have been nominated for 12 awards for the programs and services that we offer here. And again, this is at the national level. So cross your fingers that at least we get half of those awards, if not more. So I think that's pretty cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next question. We'll start with Jenna. Everyone has mentioned CTE, that is Career Technical Education. How will you personally push and keep that at the forefront?
So this is one of the questions that I get a lot when I talk to people because I came to Rock Valley College to seek an associate's degree so that I could very seamlessly transfer to a 4-year degree. And so in that way, I saw RVC as a kind of a small liberal arts college. I took my core ed or back core classes, gen ed classes here, and then I was really easily able to transfer to a 4-year school. And so people say, that was your experience, but what about other opportunities for students in the area who that is not what their plan is? They would like to enter into an apprenticeship. They would like to earn a certificate. I think that that's wonderful as well. One of the things that I am really looking forward to when I'm on the board, hopefully, is to learn more about the ways in which we are supporting and providing outreach to students who are interested in that. I was chatting with a guy that I graduated from high school with a couple nights ago who is now the chief of the fire department in Loves Park. and he was telling me about a particular program that he's really excited about, given his role as the chief of the fire department at Loves Park. And I was like, this sounds incredible. Like, I hope that I can be on the board just to be a part of this particular thing for firefighters and training. So I'm really excited about that. I think it's a learning opportunity for me. And I hope to have that as a collaborator on the board.
Thank you.
So the question's on CTE?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have to tell me who did it, but who's interested in CTE here at RVC? Okay. There's a few of you. Good, because it's important. And I think the biggest champion right now on the board for certain technical programs is Bob Trojan. Bob, stand up back there. Thanks. He is a huge champion of it, but so am I, and so are some of my supporters. Like Jenna was mentioning, the people supporting RVC first in the building trades, the allied building trades, and some of the member unions and the like, and even the teacher unions that are supporting us, teacher groups, believe in the value of an education that leads or can lead directly to employment in the workforce. Not that making your way up from RVC to be, bachelor's to master's to PhD is an easy way of doing it or anything like that. But for some people, that's not their route. And to allow them an opportunity to start here and then move on maybe one step or move right into a job is very important. So what I'd like to do is make sure that, as I mentioned earlier about the grants and the funding affecting programming here, to do what we can to beef it up and partnering with industry, local businesses, and the community to make sure we have the funding for the students to go through, and that we continue to fund the program here based on the recommendations from the administration, which I don't see that changing at all going forward. I don't see any dinging in the CTE here at all, and with the downtown campus only kind of bolstering it a bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
For somebody, we own a restaurant here in town, and a lot of my customers come in on a Friday afternoon for lunch, and a lot of them got a head start at Rock Valley in some kind of trade. One of the biggest ones I've seen is our fire and emergency. I think those opportunities are amazing for a kickstart for something. I went to Harlem High School, and I graduated from Harlem High School, and we have the automotive, we have the welding, we have everything, and I think when it comes to making sure that those programs continue to flourish is getting into the high schools, presenting them to our high schoolers and showing them that, hey, here's what Rock Valley offers, and here's a path to success without needing a 4-year degree, and you can make a lot of money on top of that. So I think as a trustee board member, I'm going to continue to partner, making sure we're partnering with local high schools as we're continuing to do to make sure we're expanding those opportunities, we're showcasing them, we're showing them, hey, you can do this at an affordable rate at not such a long time to go to college. Let's just say it like that. Very short, inexpensive, cheap, and affordable. So.
Thank you.
If you know the history of Rock Valley College, I believe everything that Rock Valley College touches turns to gold. I mean, you can see our aviation program out at the airport. You can see the ATC facility in Belvedere, and now you're going to see it, the same thing on the west side of Rockford. Community college is, obviously, we do liberal arts, but we also reach out to the community in regards to giving that second opportunity to individuals who might, it's not just focused on 18-year-olds, it's actually focused on the whole community. And there might be a chance where there's an individual who decides to switch careers and they decide they want to be a welder, they want to be a truck driver, they want to do CNC machinery. Rock Valley College provides that opportunity to be able to get that certificate in a year or two and be productive in our society and continue to still give back to this community. So I think CTE is a very important function that Rock Valley College needs to obviously keep adding to and improving. And I think we do have a future plan of doing that. So yeah, CTE is important in regards to providing that avenue for individuals who want to start their career over.
Thank you.
Well, I mentioned that my daughter went here. Well, my son is an electrician, and he had his training in Las Vegas. When he found out he had an opportunity, he didn't have to think about it twice. But now he's an instructor as well, besides being an electrician. I'm a product of the CTE program, not so much here, but back in the late 60s when I was in high school, which you probably know my age now, they had a program that was called a co-op program where I went to high school and then I worked at Rockford Clinic after school, left early. And I think one of the key factors was I did want to go to college, but my counselor suggested I take typing and shorthand and try that. So I went to work at Rockford Clinic and I became a medical secretary. But again, I speak, read, and write Spanish very well and English. And so those skills came to be from my parents. They insisted that I know both because they knew when I grew up that it would be valuable. So I was asked to translate for patients, whether they were having an x-ray, whether they were having lab work or whatever. If materials came from, if they were from Cuba or Puerto Rico and their medical records came in, I would translate those. So, I mean, and I only got paid an extra quarter an hour for doing that. So, but that was a lot of money. So I guess what I can say is that the program is amazing. And not just when I was taking it, but here. But the key factor that I always bring up when I discuss it to the public is that you earn while you learn. So if there's an issue with funding for paying for your college, remember that program also offers an opportunity for you to not only get your training, but also be working at the same time. And I think that's a valuable asset to have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this will be our final question of the night. Sorry. What will you do to support both students and staff and faculty? I could reread the question if you just said. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So during my 2 years as a board member, I have taken the initiative to actually be a very high participant in regards to what's going on campus and outside the community. I think that's actually important to get out to the students, the voters, the administration, the teachers, to see the face to who is actually on the board. I think that's very important. Communication obviously is very important with individuals who want to know what's going on with the college and what are we doing to make sure the college stays A+, so to speak. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, is actually being involved in the community, being the face of Rock Valley College. Obviously, our administration is a talking point, but I think we can be that support system to the administration that makes sure people see us and know us, that we're gonna be here for the community no matter what. But the most important thing is actually being here for the students, because that's our number one priority.
Thank you.
Well, as somebody who is a volunteer assistant coach here at Rock Valley for the men's basketball team, I can most definitely tell you how important it is to, like I said, listen, learn, and react. I think it's very important that our doors need to be open, our phone calls need to be happening. I think it's important that we need to support, when we listen to our faculty, to our students, it helps us become better and it helps us grow. I think I use that every day leading in the office and in our business. I can't be a better business manager for our restaurant if I don't listen to my employees on what ways we could be better. I can't grow if I can't take what my customers are saying to me to help us be better. So I'll go with that approach and making sure that we have opportunities for our staff, for our students and faculty all around here to know that their trustees are representing them, that they understand them, that they're listening, and that they see them. That's the most important thing, because so many employees, and no matter where you work, sometimes you feel left out and you feel left behind and forgotten about. And we need to make sure as a board, whoever's representing us understands the challenges we're facing, and being able to take those challenges and use them to make us stronger, to make sure that this is a place that's inclusive, that honors you and that respects you.
Thank you.
I think one of the things that you learn really quickly when you're on a board of any kind, whether it's an elected board or an appointed board, is that what you think your policies are, or what you think not your values, you know what your values are, but how you think you're sort of going to respond and react on that board, that's really tested once you're on the board, because you're not beholden. You're beholden to the taxpayers, you're beholden to the mission of the college, but you don't represent any particular group within the college. You're not there to lobby on behalf of faculty. You're not there to lobby on behalf of staff. You are there to ensure that the mission of the college is being fulfilled, and as a fiduciary. And so and again, as many of you know who are on different kinds of boards or different organizations, you must be open to listening to every stakeholder that is going to call you or talk to you. And that's good. You should have as many different perspectives as you can going into these tough conversations and tough decisions that you're going to be making as a board. I think that that's a good thing. So if I was on the board, I would look forward to listening, of course, and learning from all of you. Well, that's one of the things that's been the most wonderful about campaigning, is that I've learned so much about this college through this kind of new role. I've been a student here, but you only get a very specific experience as a student, and a friend to the college, a booster, a supporter, somebody who shows up. But this has been an entirely different sort of experience, and talking to people about the college in this way has really enlightened me in many ways. So I look forward to continuing to grow in that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, what I can say is that I think we're doing something right, because as I mentioned earlier, Rock Valley College is an award-winning organization, and I know that we didn't do it as a trustees. We have Matthew Oakes over there, who was recognized. We have our staff leadership who are being recognized as well. They're asked to speak at different conferences because of their knowledge and skill. And I don't think that we're not doing it alone. And I guess the bottom line for me is to encourage them, remind them that they are doing a great job. We may be in the educational business, but we really are in the people business. We're in the people business when it comes to our administration, our leaders, and our students. And of course, the families. At graduation, you see grandmas and grandpas taking thousands of pictures of their kids. Remember anytime any one of us graduated, even from 8th grade. Our parents were there and they were excited. Every step is a milestone, and every one of them is a success for their achievements, because we are there to support them and encourage them. I will end this with this particular question with this. If we help everybody win here at Rock Valley College, we all win, because the students get their education, they go out into the world, and they do their great things. They serve the community and the public. We're all winners because we've worked together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, specifically, here's a safe answer. We're going to do what we can to maintain the policies that keep equal opportunity, diversity, equity, inclusion alive for staff and faculty here. Make everybody feel welcome and safe, and hopefully a place that they want to come to learn and or work. And then do work with the administration to make sure they have the financing, the fiduciary responsibility of the trustees to support the administration in these efforts, whether it's downtown, or one of my pet projects is making sure it's something in the master plan, make a road straight to the college so the city buses can drop somebody right off at a front door rather than off on the street, because that would increase accessibility to the college and the like that. But here's the more personal aspect. I've had a couple kids go here, all right? Got friends, family who've had family, friends could go here. And like, I come from a long line of teachers. My grandfather, H.E. Nutt, helped co-found Vandercook College of Music in Chicago, an institution that taught teachers how to teach music. We've got teaching in the family. My family was sad that I wasn't a teacher, but they're extremely excited that I am contributing to the educational mission here in the Rockford region. Not only Rockford, Winnebago, Boone, Ogle, a sliver of Stevenson, a sliver of McHenry. So we're going to do what we can as trustees, whoever you elect, but you know what? This is why I want a great team to advise the president. This is why I'm running for our VC board, and I'm asking you to vote for myself, Jenna Goldsmith, and Richard Kennedy also. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, that wraps up our questions. I'll just close this out here. So good evening, everyone. My name is Aiden Quimby. I am the Running Start representative here at SGA, and I wanted to say on behalf of all of us, thank you, and we appreciate you for coming to this event. Thank you, candidates, for your time, presence, preparation, and transparency in answering our questions. Thank you to our advisors. Where are they? There you are. And college leadership for their support during this event. Thank you, League of Women's Voters, for providing refreshments. Finally, thank you to all the students who decided to attend tonight. The Student Government Association hopes that you truly enjoyed the perspectives and information presented by our candidates in anticipation of the election being held next week. And we are grateful for your commitment to RVC in securing three new Board of Trustees members through democratic process. Please feel free to join us in the back for refreshments and talk with RVC community members and candidates about different aspects. Everyone, have a wonderful night, and thank you all for coming.